So today I'm going to be demonstrating a technique that I saw the lovely Katy Leitch use in a video. And I shall pop a link to her video in the description below. The technique is using distress ink and glossy cardstock, and she's currently got a challenge running in her Facebook group, which is the Mixed Media Learning Zone. Again, I'll link to that below. So if during the course of this week you want to have a go at this and upload a photograph in the album there in the Facebook group, please do. If you win, we'll all give you a big round of applause and a pat on the back, and that will be wonderful. But it's a really good Facebook group, lots of tips and techniques, a really nice creative community where we encourage to do contribution and feedback. So, really well worth checking out if you get a chance. And today I'm going to be using, as I said, some glossy cardstock. This is just some from Creative Expressions here in the UK. It's just a white gloss cardstock. I'm going to be using some stamps, and the stamps I've got is this set of Stampers Anonymous, the Ringmaster Blueprint stamps. I quite like these. I wanted something just quite a simple graphic design, so I'm using those. And I've got a selection of distress inks here: Candied Apple, Mustard Seed, Twisted Citron, Mermaid Lagoon and Wilted Violet. So a nice rainbow colourway. So I've also got some paper towel off to the side because I'm going to need that to remove some of the excess ink. But it's a really simple technique, and as I say, if you check out her video, she does it slightly different to me. She stamps her images onto the cardstock before she starts using StazOn. I'm going to heat emboss mine afterwards with some black embossing powder, just simply because I want to cut my cardstock down into ATC size pieces before I stamp on them, and I want to be able to pick and choose areas of patterning that particularly catch my eye. So I'm just going to be working on this whole background as a whole before I start, and then cut it down. So I'm going to take the lightest of my colours, which is this mustard seed, and just kind of smoosh it onto my cardstock randomly. The thing to remember with this technique is where you get ink overlapping, you won't get much of a mixture. The colour that gets onto the cardstock first is the colour that you will see the most of in the finished pattern. So that was the Twisted Citron. Going for the Mermaid Lagoon next. Trying to cover most of the white space up. I'm going to switch over to my Candied Apple now. You can always have a piece of scrap paper off to one side if you feel like you're contaminating your ink pad a little bit where the colours overlap. You can always clean it off onto a piece of paper. That's why it is helpful to start with a lighter colour. But obviously, as your piece of cardstock gets more covered with ink, it's going to be harder to avoid sort of touching one ink pad onto another colour. So now my Wilted Violet. Trying not to get my fingers in the wet ink. And then if you think there's any areas where you kind of need to go back and fill in any obvious big white spaces, then just do dab your ink pad back on the surface. Once you've done that, take either some paper towel or a soft cloth, and you can begin buffing away the excess ink. With this being glossy, some of the ink will have soaked in. So if I flip this over, you can see that it's starting to soak through. But there is also a lot of excess ink sitting on the surface that we need to get rid of, and the finished result won't be as vibrant as this. So we just start rubbing it away Get a clean piece if necessary. And once you've buffed away that excess, we're left with this really, it's ever such a nice effect. There's areas that look slightly transparent and it's layered, but you can see whatever colour was there first is the one that's the dominant colour in each area. So that's basically it for that part of the technique. I'm going to trim my piece down now so that I can go on and do some stamping, and I'll be right back as soon as I've done that. So I've cut my background cardstock into 4 rectangles. I'm going to make 4 ATCs. ATCs, if you do not know, are artist trading cards, and they're 2.5 by 3.5 inches. I've cut these slightly smaller than that because I want to mat them onto a little bit of black card, and I need them to be the right size once they're matted onto that. And I'm basically going to take my stamp and stamp with a clear embossing ink. I'm using a WOW embossing pad here, and then heat emboss with black embossing powder. Again, this is a WOW one, WOW Primary Ebony, and this should give a really nice bold design. So just inking up my stamp, centering it over my piece of cardstock, pressing down. I'm just working on a scrap of white paper here so that I can catch my embossing powder and pop it back into the pot. I'm just going to sprinkle that on there. Tap off the excess. I'll pop this back in the pot and we will heat emboss that. So there, that's heat embossed, that's nice and shiny. I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3 designs in the stamp set, and then I'll be back. So here are my finished ATCs. As you can see, I've heat embossed the design on there, matted it onto some black card. There's the moustache design and the pointer and the game wheel. The game wheel stamp is a little too big, so I just positioned it how I wanted it so I could get the words in the corner. And I hope that you'll agree that, you know, they're really effective backgrounds. It's a great technique. I got a little carried away. I'd still got some more of my pattern cardstock left. So here's a set of artist trading coins, and I've used some visible image stamps here, the de-stressed background set. Just added Tim Holt's chit chat words on there. So just using the different design stamps, heat embossed again just down the side, added a sticker, matted that onto some black card. Still there was a bit of cardstock left, so I got one of my dies. I dug up, this was a Cheery Lynn Drippy Butterfly, I believe it was called. I've had this die a long time, it's really, really pretty. And I've die cut some butterflies and added them to some more artist trading coins. In this instance, I've cut some book paper in the background and then used some black liquid pearls just to apply onto the body and the antennae, just to sort of help those stand out a little bit. But, you know, if stamping's not your thing, you know, die cut with this beautiful background. Lots that you can do there. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found this one useful as well. Don't forget to check out Katie's video that I watched down below, and come and have a look in the Facebook group and join in this week's challenge if you want to as well. But for now, that's all. Bye.